Aloha, folks. Coming to you from Atlanta. Uh, we're going to give it a couple of moments before we get started here on the live broadcast. We're going to see how this goes. I'm not sure we've ever done anything quite this remote. We're broadcasting from a hotel room. We've done personal residences. We've done a boat, but just hole up in a hotel room. There may be after parties going on this evening. We have no idea. But at the moment, we're sticking with you guys and doing our usual 7:30 Sunday broadcast from Atlanta, from the Sheraton downtown. After having attended Inuhele
Yeah.
2022. That's Inuhele, our very, very first Tiki Convention. And yeah, it was a blast. I got to do a great big shout out. I'll save that for when we actually get started, because we're not actually started yet, supposedly. Condolences to anyone that might be tuning in from Kansas City. Hopefully, if you're a football fan, you were watching earlier, and so I'm not spoiling anything, but Kansas City lost their playoff game in overtime to the Cincinnati Bengals, so we have the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl, and they will play the winner of the Los Angeles Rams and San Francisco game, San Francisco 49ers, which is actually on a screen up there over to my left. So if I suddenly become distracted,
I'll turn it off.
it probably my wife will turn it off, but I will probably be like, what happened? What's going on? Because you know me, I'm a big NFL dork. Anyway, I think we're at 7:30 at this point, so we should have people.
Amanda says hi.
Amanda says hi. Amanda was here earlier today. She is no longer here. She took the big gray bird and flew back, and she's now safe and sound and ensconced in her house. We're bringing back stuff for her rather than have her pack it into a suitcase and that sort of thing. And we got permission to show off some of her stuff. So we're going to do that as well. We're going to show you some of the things that we picked up while we were at Inuhele, and talk about our very first Tiki Convention a little bit.
But when?
Hey, Gwen. We do need to do a toast, because
We do.
that's the usual thing that we do. I've already poured myself something, so I'm going to be drinking that. And I'm just going to give my lovely wife... we're going to hold off on opening all of these bottles. We've got a couple open. I'm just going to pour her a little of the usual plantation Jamaica, because I know she likes that.
I do. I have to wander my way back here.
Yeah, we've got all
The
sorts of
lights
weird
on the
lighting
floor and
and
all
yeah.
this stuff. I'm not.
Clearly, this is not my home bar, right?
Hi.
Yep. Hi, folks. If you check out the Instagram for Lovecraft Cocktails, you will see Star participating in the caftan stroll. Yep. So here you go. Here is your Jamaica, and here's me throwing a bunch of stuff together.
Jonathan and Allison, who
for-
ran a great convention.
Great convention. We know of Jonathan through his mugs, Horror and Clay. I featured a lot of his mugs on the broadcast previously. Basically, anything that is remotely Cthulhu or Lovecraft themed has largely come from Jonathan. And he and his
See
wife.
if I can show off my necklace.
He and his wife run this convention. This
I don't
is
know if I'm getting in camera.
yep.
at all.
You are in camera.
my-
Yep.
Coconut or pineapple. Sorry.
So
Necklace.
here's to Jonathan and Allison for and the army of volunteers. They had 75 volunteers that helped put this together, and I know the teardown team was working till 5 o'clock today. So they're rushing and trying to get moved out of here, probably so they can get back and watch the NFL games. But
Amanda's underneath kitties. We have a hi from Chase County.
howdy all from wherever. So what are we going to do this evening? So again, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about our first Tiki Convention and what we did here. We're going to show off a little bit of swag and stuff that we did. Of course, on our way down and our way around the city, we stopped in various liquor stores because different states have different liquor laws. So of course, there's different things you can get for different price points. So, there are things that we could potentially get in DC or in Northern Virginia, but the price points might be a little different, and one of those is the latest release from Foursquare Distillery. Foursquare releases a series of exceptional cask selections. This is their 18th. This is their indelible, so it's been aged 11 years in cask. Like almost all of the Foursquares, it is both, or most Barbados rums, it is a combination of pot and column still. And this is aged in ex-bourbon and ex-Zinfandel casks, so that should be pretty interesting. We are not opening this one this evening. We could probably get the indelible back home from various purveyors, but we were able to get it a little bit cheaper down here than we would normally pay for it, so we went ahead and did that.
Keith says greetings.
Hey, Keith.
Gwen says bergamot.
Bergamot, yes. So
Christopher.
What else did?
Christoph says
yum. What else did we? Well, we wanted to have a couple of rums for mixing drinks while we were here, so we picked up the Plantation Jamaica because I can never have too much of that. And one of the places we stopped was actually a Total Wine, which has an exclusive dealership with Foursquare to release, to sell and distribute Doorleys. And I really like the Doorleys 12 year, so I went ahead and picked up another bottle of that. Wasn't sure what I was going to be doing with it. Next time I go to a Tiki Convention, I'm going to decide on what cocktails I'm going to make ahead of time, and then I'll know what rums I need, as opposed to, oh, that's what, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring a bunch of stuff, and we'll see. We did pick up a sipping rum on the way down, and that is the Appleston Estate Black River. The Black River cask is a 15-year, so this should be quite tasty. We, again, have not opened that because we've been drinking cocktails. As it turns out, there was really no need to do all of this because there are a lot of cocktails and people throwing room parties.
Although we had cocktails in the room.
Couple of times.
Couple times. And
Yep.
I think Amanda was glad we had some rum in the room.
Yeah, poor Amanda. Her flight got delayed on the way out. She got in way late, and I think she was a little keyed up when she got in. So a little of the Doorleys 12 settled her right down. And then today we got word that there is a really nice liquor store not that far away, and I'm like, well, we should try that. We're out looking for brunch, and so we stopped in at the, was it called?
Essential.
Right, the liquor store is Essential.
Oh.
The food, we tried to go to Folk, was it?
Folk Art Cafe.
Folk Art Cafe, and they wanted a 40-minute wait, so we went literally next door to a bar and had a wonderful burger and a club sandwich, and life was all good. And then we walked down the street and went to Essential, and they have so here's the deal on Essential. Their collection isn't that big, but it is well curated. There's a solid...
We went to North Highland Pub.
North Highland Pub, that would be the place that we went. So Essential, their collection is very well curated. You're not going to find the run-of-the-mill stuff on the shelves there. If you want Bacardi, this is not the place to go. There are 1,000 other liquor stores that you could go to. Okay, I have a fairly extensive collection of rum. I recognized almost everything. Well, no, I think I recognized just about everything on the shelves that they had there, and I had most of them. But that also allows me, with some authority, to say that was a really nice collection of rum. To be true, though, I didn't walk away with empty hands. So Richland Rum is a distiller in Georgia itself that has been distilling since 1999. And we've heard some really good things about this rum while we were down here. And it's always kind of a nice idea to, if you're on travel, pick up a local rum, especially if you've heard good things about it. Sometimes it'll lead you astray, like the Topper's rum from St. Martin. But I have really high hopes for the Richland rum that will turn out to be quite yummy.
We have a Colleen.
Hey, Colleen. Howdy.
Keith wants to know, is that real Spam?
Is that real Spam? So that is, in fact, a can that at one point had Spam in it. So
we probably ate some of the Spam out of the
cans. There was much Spam served over the course of the convention. But all of the individuals that went on the Caftan strut got a special cocktail at the end of the strut, and most of them got those cocktails served to them in a cleaned out and the ridges removed Spam mug. You know, it's a can of Spam that's been transformed into a little mug. So we're gonna bring that back home because that's kind of cool and nifty. Of course,
Amanda says thank you. The Dorleys was so yummy.
Oh, thanks. Good.
Amanda says just you wait.
Just we wait. I wonder what we're waiting for.
Howard Wood loves Italicus.
Oh.
Bruce says greetings. Love the hotel curtain backdrop.
Yeah, the lovely hotel curtain. But at least the backdrop, the hotel curtain backdrop, is broken up by some other stuff that we picked up from Inuhele. So, got to make sure that I don't this doesn't go sleepy on me.
Right.
But so here, swag bag, right? So just a giant yellow bag that's got the Inuhele logo on it. It says Tiki Weekend. We've got a couple of these bags, so this is a great thing because Virginia has gone to charging for plastic bags at grocery stores, and now we can advertise the fact that we drink a lot while we pick up all sorts of citrus when we go to the grocery stores. So that'll be fun. The other thing that you see behind me is this is a sort of a front end of a wooden chest that has had hand painted on the Ray and Nephew white overproof from, and this is done by Lake Tiki Woodcrafters, and he is celebrating his 20th year of doing woodcraft, Tiki Woodcraft, and it was really nice because we got to meet him and watched him on a panel. So you may recall from a number of episodes back that we had stopped in Indianapolis to go to the Inferno Room on our way out for Champagne, for Thanksgiving in Champagne. Well, as it turns out, the Inferno Room's artwork is almost entirely Papua New Guinea. And that's what he specializes in. And I'm sorry, I'm totally not remembering his name, which is horrible of me. So it was nice to get a little seminar, a little discussion of the artwork at the Inferno Room, a place that we'd actually visited, and learn more about it. And then to actually be able to, give a little back to the community by giving a little back to artists that had contributed to the Inferno Room. Dave is his name, right? Okay. We also, of course, he does tribal masks and that sort of thing, and we couldn't resist. This was one of his masks that he still had on sale in the dealer's room. This is a relatively new creation. This is 115, so just middle of the month here. But you can see, the detail on this mask. It's just very, very cool. So we're gonna have to find pride of place to put this guy up somewhere in the bar, because that's just I don't know. It has a little bit of an alien feel to it as well, which is just going to go cool with the bar. I seem to be talking a lot and not drinking enough, so I should probably stop here and make a drink.
Yeah. And
then we'll move on from there. Now we're going to be serving these drinks in the Inuhele plastic mugs. So this is Inuhele Atlanta's Tiki Weekend. It says 2022, has their logo on it. Has some artwork on the back, just little plastic cups. I don't know how many of these things that they got, but we're working on better than half a dozen of them just from drinks and the like that we picked up, and they're a decent little size. They're a rocks glass size, so I think that's going to be kind of cool. So the other thing we picked up while we were shopping around was I'd wanted a bottle of Italicus for quite a while, and Italicus is a bergamot flavored liqueur, and bergamot is the thing that gives Earl Grey tea its really unique flavor. It's a bright, citrusy, sort of orangey flavor, and so one of the things I was thinking of is there's an awful lot of tiki drinks that use triple sec or Cointreau or something along those lines, and maybe I could get away with swapping out some of that for the Italicus, and we'll see how that goes. So I did a drink last night, which was essentially a straight-up Mai Tai, but I didn't have any rum agricole with me, so I used a combination of the Jamaica and the Dorleys, I split the orange between the Italicus and a little Cointreau, and I don't have any simple syrup on me, so I just went ahead and used my spice syrup and homemade orgeat. I gotta say, it was a little tart. I'm not sure that's quite what I wanted from this cocktail, so we're gonna change things up just a little bit. One of the things we're gonna do is we're just gonna go plain Jamaica. I'm not gonna add in the Doorleys. I think the Doorleys, that bourbon-esque flavor from the Doorleys doesn't do the Mai Tai any favors. And I'm just gonna go whole hog. I'm gonna go 2 portions of Italicus to 1 portion of the Cointreau as opposed to the other way around. And we'll see how that goes for the cocktail. So let's give this a try and see what we can do here. Okay, so we're going to build in here, and as per usual, I'm going to start with the sticky ingredients first. So that would be the homemade orgeat. And the other trick here that I'm going to do is I am not going to use any of the spice syrup or simple syrup. I am just simply going to use the orgeat for this one. I really like an orgeat forward Mai Tai. Speaking of which, we did have a Mai Tai at Trader Vic's on Thursday. There are not a lot of Trader Vic's left in the world, and one of them in the United States happens to be here in Atlanta, right around the corner from the Sheraton. So we thought we had to go there. And we did. We had to go there for our sort of inaugural drinks and some food Thursday evening. That was a lot of fun. I got to say, I was not impressed with that Mai Tai, though. Had some very strange flavors to it. Tasted almost Hawaiian punchy, which argues to me that there's probably some fashionola in that, and which, you know, I've looked at a lot of Mai Tai recipes. I don't see a lot of fashionola used in Mai Tai recipes, so that's not so good. Okay, what else are we going to do? Well, I need to clear out my jigger, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do here is normally there'd be a 1/2 ounce of your orange curacao in there. So we're going to go a little less than 1/4 ounce of orange curacao. Actually, Cointreau, not orange curacao. Sorry.
And when traveling, the airline bottles are often a nice way to...
Yeah, because you don't want to go out and buy a great big bottle of triple sec or Cointreau, but you don't use much of it in your cocktails, so you can get a little small airplane bottle of it. Now, the Italicus, I wanted to have a bottle of Italicus, and since we drove, it's not going to be a problem. Yeah, that was the other nice lesson, is that we did choose properly to drive down. That was the right choice. We brought back we're going to be bringing back stuff, so that's going to be cool. We've got the car to be able to do that. Okay, so there's a 1/2 ounce of our orange.
Okay, the final verdict on if we chose properly will be how I feel tomorrow after the long drive.
After the long drive, that is true. That is true.
I may even make him drive some.
Oh my gosh. Well, my anxiety just went way up. Okay, also, I think the verdict last night was that this was a little too tart.
Yes.
So normally you would go with a full ounce of lime juice, and I'm going to cut that back to 3/4 of an ounce on the lime juice there. Okay, and then we're going to go 2 ounces of just the Jamaican Plantations Jamaica. Fun fact, the very first cocktail that Martin Cate, owner of Smuggler's Cove, ever made for me, he hasn't made many for me, was in fact made, well, it was a Mai Tai made with Plantations Jamaica.
Yeah.
In
that little glass.
In this little glass right here, which is it was a sippy cup. It comes with a cap on it, has Smuggler's Cove logo and that sort of thing. All right, so we got lime juice in there. We've got the orange liqueurs. We have orgeat. We have the rum. We have 2 ounces of rum in there. So we need ice. We need to shake this up. I don't have any crushed ice with me, and I could pull out the bag and beat some ice, but the ice from the ice machines here are actually pretty good and break apart pretty easily in the shaker. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And let's see, how much ice are we talking about? We're just talking a bunch of ice, right? Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to go 2 scoops full here of ice, which is probably a little more than what we need, but I also may have not diluted it enough last night, so don't know. but we're going to lid this up and then we're going to give it a shake.
Shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake. Here we go. All right, so here is Maitalicus. Is that what we would call this? We're going to have to give this a taste test. Now, I did not bring straws with me, so I am not going to be hawking Surfside Sips straws this evening because I don't have any of their straws with me. So, right, I can't do that.
Right. Although we mentioned them a few times this weekend and people didn't know of them. So.
Okay, that's a distinct improvement over last night. So we're just going to split this into 2 glasses. There has been a fair amount of drinking this weekend, so we don't need to do a ton of it tonight. I will give the larger glass to my wife, who will need to sleep this evening because she's doing the majority of the driving tomorrow. So here we go.
Trying to look over his shoulder to make sure I'm on camera.
If we in fact had mint, I would dump some mint in here.
Amanda took a garnish class.
She did. And
they did not spank the mint.
I know. I know it's horrible. They didn't spank the mint. I don't know what's up with that. We could just do a quick little rip of some lime here. This would probably be a good idea. I'm just guessing that a fresh expression of lime oil over the top of this will be good. So we'll just take that. We'll do that. Zip that in there. Do the same with this. Shoop. Stick those in there. And here's the Maitalica, or whatever. Maitalicus is what we called it. Maitalica, something.
So we have some questions.
Beginning to sound a little bit like Metallica, which is not what I wanted to do with this.
No.
This is significantly better than last night.
It is.
Yeah, much more balanced.
Amanda. So, Christine asks, so the liquor stores I have gone to since we've gotten back in Kansas are well stocked with Blue Chair Bay rum.
Blue Chair Bay rum.
So you know the reviews are not good since they are well stocked. Do we know of it?
We do know of Blue Chair rum, and the word I have, and this is purely secondhand, I have not tasted any of their rums. The word I have is that their coconut is actually quite yummy. So if you're looking for a coconut rum, you don't want to do Malibu because it's not even a real rum. You might try Blue Chair and see how it is and report back to me, and because we can get it here, but I just don't buy flavored rums for the most part. I mean, the Plantation Stiggins is about the only flavored rum that we buy.
Yeah.
We buy a couple of spiced rums, like the Chairman's Reserve spiced, but I don't even buy the Foursquare spiced rum. I have a little left in a bottle. It was fine, but I just don't have that much call for a spiced rum.
So,
I will usually use rum and either my spice syrup or rum and allspice dram or rum and falernum to get sort of the same flavor profiles as a spiced rum. Speaking of which, if you're a big fan of Captain and Coke and you just don't have any Captain on hand, because why would you have a bottle of Captain on hand? You can always use a better rum and a little bit of allspice dram and get basically the same experience as a Captain and Coke, but at a little higher grade and a little more complexity of the flavors. And I think that would work really well for you.
Christine wanted to know the highlights of the convention, and I will
Okay,
go over that.
folks want to know the highlights of the convention.
There are a few more comments before
Okay.
we get to that. The wise one always says Mai Tai should not be pink.
This is not pink. You'll note this is not pink.
Right.
Mai Tai should not be pink. So one of the things I could have done, I do have some of my homemade grenadine with me. I could have used that instead of the simple syrup, but we would have gotten a pink Mai Tai, and that's no good. I could dribble some of the grenadine. If this had been too sour again, I could have dribbled a little bit of it, and we would have gotten like the thick red ropiness of the grenadine coming down. Would have been very pretty. Not really anything you could call a Mai Tai at that point. This is a really good call to cut the lime juice back to 3/4 of an ounce.
Amanda says, hopefully Surfside Sips will show up at the next convention, or we should go to a Tiki convention he's close to.
So the Surfside Sips guys, nope, I'm still not hawking them, right? Okay, yeah, I am. They're out of, I believe, Southern California. And so this was just a little too far for them to make. But I know at least one of the mug manufacturers that was here, they were selling their mugs, and included with their mugs was a Surfside Sips straw, just to get them a little more notoriety. So again, if you're looking for good quality glass straws, Surfside Sips, you can order them online. And if you use Lovecraft, all capital letters, LOVECRAFT, you'll get 20% off on your order. We do get a little bit of a kickback on it, which does help defray the cost of our Surfside Sip straw purchases. Because we do.
Christopher asks, you have to spank the mint?
Spanking the mint. Have you not heard of spanking the mint? So usually, if you have a bit of mint and you really want to sort of wake up the flavors of the mint, you want to lightly bruise the leaves in order to get the oils to extract. And an easy way to do that, number of different ways you can do that. You'll see some bartenders that will just take the glass and they will take the mint and they'll just smack it across the glass, and that will help break up some of the cellular structure of the mint leaves, and that will just cause a greater aroma. Or, like I do, I just put a bunch of mint leaves in my hand, I give it a big smack, and again, that releases the oils. And the nice thing about that is my hands smell like mint for the rest of the broadcast and most of the rest of the evening, which is great and pretty awesome. So there you go.
Christine says not spanking the mint makes the drink not kinky enough, according to her partner.
Oh, and we want kinky drinks. Okay, I guess. I'm not sure the drinks need to be kinky.
Tell us more about the convention.
Okay, so more about the convention. So we wanted to give the convention the fullest try we could. So we went ahead and we splurged a little and went with VIP membership, which got us a few extra swag items and did give us like preferential access to things like the trader's room, which is basically your merchant room where all the merchants are, which, as it turns out, that's actually a really big thing, because a lot of the merchants are bringing handmade stuff of which they only have one or two of, or something along those lines, and so the VIPs have first access to it. And I was there when somebody said, yeah, I only brought one of these signs, and the next words out of anybody else's mouth in the crowd was sold. It was just like, oh, okay, right. And people know what they want, they know what they're looking for, and we're on it. So having access to the trader's room was interesting. Very strange experience for us, because we are old hands at science fiction fantasy conventions, and we're kind of jaded about the merchant rooms. And so it was walking in, there was no merchant we recognized. Okay, that's not entirely true. There's a few of the online merchants that we know, just because we've ordered stuff with them, and it was nice to be able to meet them, like Jeff Granito, Big Toe, the guy
Blue
that...
Lagoon Room?
That's not the right term. It's Black Lagoon Room?
Yes.
Black Lagoon...
My Tai Till I Die.
My Tai Till I Die, guys, yes. We're all here, and so that was very cool. So getting into the dealer's room a little bit early was pretty awesome. I mentioned the swag that we got. So swag, so here is the official 2022 Inuhele mug. So you'll get this awesome looking parrot. It says 2022 across the back. It's got the Inuhele namesake, and it's entirely made of fruit, right? So these are pineapples, and the eyes are cherries, and my lovely wife is going to put that in front of the camera for you so you can see that. Isn't that cool? And they come in a couple of different colors, right?
No, these were only...
These are the only... This is the same color scheme.
So.
I thought this was maybe... But we'll find out.
We haven't opened the second one.
Yeah, we have two of them. We have only opened one of them. It's because, well, there's only reason to open one was to show you guys, and so that we could go ooh and ah. Yeah. And the second does come in multiple colors, and that's one of these wonderful goblet glasses, right? And you may remember that I was looking for essentially snifter glasses that I could use for cocktails. We found a couple at some consignment stores, and now we have two more, and these do come in different colors. I forget what the other color scheme is, but this is the purple and
I think
violet.
it's the orange and
The sort of orange and aqua or something along those lines. So yay, this is the perfect addition. It could have been Pilsner glasses or something, for which I have dozens. It seems like this is like the perfect addition to the glassware collection. So that was part of the swag offerings. We also got a taste of Meridian's canned Mai Tais, which actually, we actually ended up tasting a series of their drinks, like their daiquiri and their margarita. Their Mai Tai is actually, if you want a canned Mai Tai, that was a pretty tasty little Mai Tai. It was better than the Trader Vic's Mai Tai, so it was not made with fashionola, so that was tasty.
Their other ones were not my
not
favorite.
not brilliant.
And then we also had
seltzers from
Kona Brewing Company.
From these guys, Kona Brewing Company, Liquid Aloha, right? And the seltzers were what you'd expect from a hard seltzer. They're sort of a malt beverage. They're okay, if you need something and you don't have this in front of you, maybe that's a nice, refreshing thing. They were also giving away free pint glasses with the seltzers, which was very, very nice. And now there's another pint glass sitting here.
Yeah.
This reminds me, dear wife, that I am going to need to have these cleared out so that I can mix other drinks.
A comment and a question, and I'll
comment and a question.
I'll
Always
get those
good.
Cleaned out while you answer them. Christine asks, without coconut rum, what would you substitute to make a Bahama Mama?
If I didn't have coconut rum,
coconut cream. Right?
Yeah, I would just use some coconut cream in that. That's how I would do. I'd go grab some Coco Lopez and do that.
Spam stickers.
Yes, we did get spam stickers. There were a couple of people wandering around in squid costumes, just spamming everybody, which was totally fun in the sense of literally spamming. They were throwing rolls of stickers at you. So I have a whole bunch of spam stickers now. I'm not sure what to do with that. That also garnered us an invite to the Volcano Worshippers Hour Friday night, which secret goings on at the Volcano Worshippers. But it involves high-quality rum and extremely spicy hot sauce. And I won't say any more than that about that. But yeah, it was quite fun. I refused to partake because, well, I knew I had an entire convention ahead of me, and I was not sure how my stomach would take to the extremely spicy hot sauce. So
I also got a Frisbee.
She got a Frisbee, yes. That is, so we can spam other people with a plastic Frisbee. How cute.
The other question, the other comment.
Okay.
Amanda says, you can be sure I smacked my mint at the class, and she was the only one, and it startled the other guests.
I find this totally amusing that she's at a class where they're teaching people how to make garnishes, and they made like the little floating ship that has a tall stick coming out of it and has little sails on it, which is awesome. They did that in I believe a dehydrated either orange or lime to float on top of that. They also did the typical Cobra Fang garnish, which is, you've seen me do this, so you've got the long orange snake with the two little eyes on it. We've done that on occasion. They also did, they did
Floating Island.
The floating island, and which is sort of lime husk with like usually some mint and a paper umbrella to look like a little island.
They did the dolphin.
And the dolphin, right? So you cut a banana in half, and you use the stem portion as the snout of the dolphin, and you can use like wedges of like orange or something along those lines to do flippers on the dolphin, the back fin, that sort of thing. So that was very cool, and she got a paring knife and a vegetable peeler and a grater for some nutmeg, all as part of that class. So that was kind of cool. She seemed to really enjoy that. There were a couple of classes talking about rums from people of different levels of knowledge and entertainment. We had the folks from Tiki Underground in Ohio. It's not Akron. It's like outside of Akron. I can't remember offhand. I think somewhere around here I have one of the cards for Tiki Underground. I thought I had this all set up, but apparently I don't. But anyway, so we've actually seen a couple of their broadcasts, their educational broadcasts during the early portion of COVID, which was quite interesting.
Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Yep. So there's a reason to actually go through Ohio. Pause briefly in Cuyahoga Falls and have a drink with Tiki Underground and then move on. Part of what you got with your membership was this little passport, and this I thought was a great idea. So it's like a typical passport book, right? So it tells you what level of access you have, and you can fill this information out. So if you lose this badge, it can be returned to you, which is pretty awesome. But it also doubles as the program booklet.
And
so,
some of the people had stamps and stickers.
Right. So you know how you get a visa and when you go to a particular country? Well, some of the dealers and the like had stamps, so you could get stamped and show that you had been to that particular dealer. And it's just various ads and that sort of thing in here. But having the program booklet as part of your badge was really, really nice. The VIPs had a laminated badge as well, which gave them special access to some of the VIP events, and sometimes early access to some of the hospitality events and that sort of thing, which was really, really nice.
And there was a second hospitality room that had an hour and a half each day.
Right.
For only VIP members.
Yeah. I got to say, I think they did fine on like serving a little bit of snacks and food during the day. So not enough for you to make a meal of, but enough to give you something to soak up a little bit of whatever you might be drinking. We hear tell. So we all went to bed relatively early, as it turns out, relatively early, which is like 11:30, midnight, 12:30, something along those lines. Come to find out, I guess there are parties going on way later. I talked to many people this morning that did not get to sleep until 2, 3, or even 4 in the morning. So that's kind of excessive.
The layout.
Oh, the layout of the hotel is perfect for this convention. So there's 2 towers to the hotel, and the convention space is under the North Tower, which is where we were staying, so we could just ride an elevator all the way down to the convention space. The convention space is underneath the lobby floor, so it's all segregated off from the guest rooms, which is brilliant and nice. There's at least 2 elevator banks that will take you down into the lobby into the convention space, and there's multiple stairwells that will take you down into various pieces of it. So whatever your mobility issues are, that works. Just up from the lobby area is the pool area, and it's a great big indoor pool which has got all sorts of tropical plants and the like surrounding it. It actually can be open to the elements, but is actually glassed in at the moment because it's winter in Atlanta for all that means. And a lot of the hospitality suite and a lot of the room parties were around that pool on their balconies and that sort of thing, which is just very cool. We've seen this done before at some science fiction conventions, most notably Contraception in Kansas City, and it just worked really, really well. It was a little bit of a homecoming for us in that there were just these things that were reminding us of sort of the early days of our science fiction convention going. And at about 600 people, I think that's what they said.
Yeah.
It was a really nice size. It fit in the hotel very, very nicely. They did say that this year they had a lot more traffic from other areas, not just local Atlanta. This is sort of like Atlanta's local Tiki Convention, but we came down from DC. There were people from New York. There were people that came up from Florida. There were people from Colorado and Arizona that came out.
The Tiki Inferno guys.
The Tiki Inferno guys came out from Indianapolis. So Ohio, obviously, Tiki Underground came out. Jeff Beach Bum Berry came up from New Orleans and did a book signing this morning. And as you might expect, yes, indeed. Here's 2 of Beach Bum Berry's books, and yes, I did get them signed. And I got to tell you, Jeff was an amazing meet. He's just a nice guy. He makes you feel extremely comfortable. He loved the idea of the Lovecraft cocktails and the pun that is Lovecraft cocktails and Lovecraft cocktails. Aloha Nui Lovecraft Cocktails from Jeff Beachbum-Berry. Yeah, so that was, I don't know. People say never meet your heroes. In this case, absolute bullshit. It was just great to meet Jeff Berry. Um, without him, we wouldn't be here, and it was just so cool to geek out and fanboy and not have somebody react like, "Oh God, it's a geeky fanboy." I don't get to geek out and be a fanboy much in my fifth decade on this planet, so that was just really really nice and cool.
So on Friday, you went to
Star's going to give us the schedule on what we did.
You went to a panel on Flarenum.
Went to a panel on Flarenum. The Luau lads, who are out of Florida and are only distributing in Florida, do a pecan orgeat, a bottled Saturn, and a falernum, which I got to say, their falernum tastes to me an awful lot like a really, really thick allspice dram. It's a little different flavor profile than I would expect. But they were specifically going in a different direction from the John D. Taylor Velvet Falernum. And they don't carry, and there's no almonds in there, so there's no nuts. So it is nut safe, which is often a problem with tiki drinks because usually falernum and orgeat obviously have nuts in them. And so if you are nut allergic, some of these drinks can be potentially deadly to you. Not a good thing. Don't like to poison my guests. That's all bad.
And I went to the What is Inuhele anyway.
Oh, right. Yeah. Star went to the newbies panel. What is this thing that we are doing anyway? Yeah. Oh no, I've got to kick this over before this dies on me. Sorry.
We went to a non-expert talks about rum.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Hudgens.
And I don't think I learned anything. I think I knew pretty much everything, but I really wanted to go to get a sense of where my rum knowledge is in comparison to other knowledgeable amateurs. And so this was a very much a level setting and a standard setting for me. And so that was very nice. That was a good thing for me to do. And I'm a little used to, quite frankly, science fiction conventions where there's an awful lot of one-upsmanship. You have the amateur that is talking about the thing that they're passionate about, and presumably there are other folk in the audience that are just like, oh, well, I'm like blah, 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 and I know this, and blah, blah, blah. And there was none of that. Everybody was very gracious, and, if there was something that he was having a question about or something along those lines, it was answered from the audience in a very gracious way, and it was just really refreshing to see. I got it. Everybody was so nice. Oh my gosh, it's not just Atlanta. It was, people from all over the country coming here and were just exceedingly nice and friendly and willing to engage you in like any kind of conversation. There was just no trace of gatekeeping. It was a wonderful experience. And, frankly, in comparison to Worldcon recently, this is a very different experience and much needed. Much, much needed. It kind of felt like finding a little bit more of family again. Yeah, so very cool.
I went to a swizzle swap.
Yeah, so I guess swizzle swaps are a thing, right? You bring a bunch of your swizzle sticks that you have, and you trade them with others that have swizzle sticks. And so, I didn't even think about it. We should have stopped by Archipelago and got a whole bunch of Archipelago swag and brought that. Yeah, which is our college bar, the Halakihiki in Chicago.
Got a Formosa from Hollywood, which we have a mug from.
Yes, we do have the Formosa mug.
Yeah.
So these are all new swizzles to us. We got the SOS swizzle.
Yeah, one of the local bars here.
Which everybody said, Trader Vic's is nice. We're going for the experience of being to Trader Vic's, but if you want good drinks, go to the SOS.
Tiki Underground.
Yep. Which again, we haven't been to, but we'll stop in at some point.
3 dots and a dash.
And we picked up another Hidden Harbor swizzle that we didn't have because they were out of that Hidden Harbor swizzle when we went there in December. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Should I make another drink? Is that are you done with yours? Do you need another drink?
I don't know if I need another drink.
Oh no. Okay.
I know. You went to see El Capitan and the Reluctant Sadists.
Yeah, so one of the things they do later in the evening, and I guess sometimes there's more music or less music. Yeah, well, there's either more or less music, right? I guess on previous Inuheles, there's maybe been a little more music. So they set up a room and had various bands playing. It was really cool to see like actual real live surf music being played by a real band and not just listening to it off of my little box or my Pandora or my Sonos or something along those lines. So we actually saw a couple of bands over the course of the time we were here.
Mystery Men.
The Mystery Men of Tiki and something else. I don't remember who, but yep. And of course, a bunch of ukulele and drum players. And we saw they did a luau Saturday night, catered by the hotel, and they brought in a Polynesian dance show. A little shaky on the Polynesian dance show, but I'm a snob when it comes to that sort of thing. Growing up, spending some years in Polynesia, yeah, it's like, kind of seen that. What else did we do? We went to a bunch of
You went to
parties.
Tiki Pro Tips, taking your passion public.
Oh, that's right. I have no intention of doing this as a pro. I don't want to make this my job. I don't want to take the joy out of doing this that might entail. But it was really interesting to be able to sit with a panel of individuals talking about what it took to do that and why they decided to make that transition and how that transition has gone for them. And, you had a mug maker, you had a tattoo artist, and you had Jonathan and Allison who run this convention, but also run a couple of other tiki-related businesses like Horror and Clay, and they used to do Mug Crate, which was they would send you on like a quarterly basis, I think it was, a tiki mug and a bunch of swag, which is a great way to get introduced to different artists and the like. The Jeff Granito tiki cat that we have that hangs over the wall behind me at the home bar was from the Mug Crate.
The My Tai Till I Die patch.
Right, yeah, we got introduced to My Tai Till I Die through them. So yeah, it's just a great way to do that. They talked a lot about when you're trying to grow your business, doing collaboration and doing synergies with other folk in the community that don't directly compete against you. And I thought that was a really cool sort of insight. They also said never pay for clicks. Those aren't real clicks, as the saying goes.
And Tiki Underground did a tequila and mezcal.
That's right. Yep. And we had taken a couple of classes on mezcal and tequila from the Museum of Distilled Spirits. So again, there wasn't a lot of new material to us, but again, I think it was pitched at the right level. It hit people that have some knowledge of tequila. It hit people that have no knowledge of tequila or aren't experienced with what the difference between tequila and mezcal is. And so I think it was really nicely done. And again, there wasn't anything that was wrong in any of the presentations, and nobody felt compelled to try and do the one-upsmanship of, I know more about this than you do. It was all an understanding of this is where people are and this is where their understanding is, and that's the way it should be. And it's good stuff.
Do you have Amanda's artwork?
I do have Amanda's artwork. So one of the nice things is we are driving back, and so Amanda was flying back, and she could not take some of her artwork that she purchased, or it would be safer for her to have not taken her artwork back. And our friend Amanda is a big Star Wars fan. Like most of our friends are like Star Wars fans. And so when she found this little image of Grogu drinking a tiki drink, she had to have it. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can kind of see that, right? Yep. I'm not going to ask my wife to get up yet again to do this. So the Grogu drinking a tiki drink that is almost as big as he is. The other thing that I could think of as doing for artwork for Grogu was when Grogu was a little itty bitty, you could have just put Grogu in one of the big party mugs. Yeah. That would be cool, right? And then she found this artwork, which is just perfect for Amanda. Absolutely perfect. This is just, this says Amanda. It just screams. It is so perfect for her. I didn't even see this artwork in the room, and she just glommed on and said, "I have to have this." And so, yep, we will be very careful. We will bring this back. It will be safe. Assuming we are safe, it will also be safe. How's that? Yep. Oh, ready, nephew. Yep.
Yeah, and we also got the
What else did we get? Oh my
the
God.
Tiki Underground thing on tequila had swag.
Oh, right. So, and somewhere I have the sticks as well. So, Patron releases these little tequila tiki mugs, and they have the Patron logo on them. They say Patron on the bottom, but this is modeled after the piña that is sort of the underground portion of the agave plant. So you see the leaves and stuff coming up here. The ground is basically here. And they have these swizzle sticks, and the swizzle sticks are patterned after the traditional tool that is used for both digging these up and cutting off all of the leaves and shoots off of the piña before this gets cooked and transformed into that wonderful elixir that will be fermented and distilled and become either tequila or mezcal. So and they just were handing these out to like anybody that was at the panel. So we're bringing back a couple of these guys.
Tequila class, Amanda says, was also catered to people who wanted to know how to substitute rum with tequila and mezcal.
Right. So they did a few drinks that were substituting. I also went to a class on demystifying tiki cocktails. And they talked about various ratios of ingredients with tiki cocktails and different flavor combinations, and how to put those sorts of things together.
She also got this.
Oh, great. She got her black kitty. Yes. And then there's stickers there too as well. It's their other artwork. Oh, leaning forward. I can't tell. Right? So got it? Okay. Good. See, we haven't forgot it. It's here. Absolutely. What else? So much crazy things. So I actually learned a bunch from the class on making or demystifying tiki, and he's been doing this thing for years and years and years, giving these kinds of lectures. So it was very cool, very interesting for me. Filled in some gaps in my knowledge. There's a couple of things where like, really, I think the flavor profile is a little different than that, but it's okay. To each their own, and he was very adamant of like, this is his system, it works for him, and play around for whatever works for your flavor profile and your palate, because they're different. We saw a bunch of jewelry that we really, really loved in the art show, or not the art show, the traders room. We didn't actually come away with any of it, but we were so tempted, including I don't think I have a card from them, or we probably do somewhere, but she takes like cocktail orchids and coats them in resin so that you will have this permanent cocktail orchid, and made some really, really gorgeous jewelry with it. We saw many people wandering around with her artwork, so that was very, very cool. Oh wow, we're getting close to the hour mark.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make one more drink here. And we're going to go strictly on the fly here. I'm going to base this off of the Test Pilot cocktail, the original, 1944, something along those lines, Test Pilot. And again, I'm going to substitute Italicus entirely for the Cointreau that would normally go in this cocktail. I'm also, because the Italicus is a little lighter and brighter, I think what I want to do is darken this up, and part of this was I went online and was hunting down drink recipes that have rum and Italicus in them, and wow, are those hard to find. Like, nobody does this. Or if they do, they use like a really clean white rum. So there was a couple that were like an Italicus mojito, which is, it's a mojito with some Italicus thrown in. It's like, not really what I want to look for. But I kept running into these cologne and perfume ads and sites that combine bergamot with rum scents and vanilla scents, and the rum and bergamot scents together. I was like, okay, well, what other things are in those kinds of perfumes? And maybe I can do a riff or play off of those and see what that would be like. So that's what we're going to do here. We are going to, in fact, use both the Jamaica and the Barbados Dourlies, and we're going to use some little Italicus in here, and we're just going to see how this goes. So first of all, for our sweet component would normally be falernum, about a ½ ounce. I'm going to actually break that up a little bit. I have some little falernum here, and I'm going to do a ¼ ounce of the falernum. And then, because I want some of the darker notes here, I'm going to use my own homemade spice syrup. And this is, for those of you that have tuned in the past, you know this is what I substitute for cinnamon syrup all the time. Cinnamon is a primary component here, but there's also clove and allspice, little cardamom, and some star anise, and a few other things in here that I really like. And I just love the substitution of this for cinnamon syrup anytime. Now this is taking us away from the usual test pilot structure, which is a little brighter in flavor than this, but I want these dark notes to go with the bergamot. I think that will play well together. I'm hoping. We've never made this before. Did not do a test batch of this, so we will see. This is going just off of what Pooch thinks might work. So again, the syrups went in first because those coat my jigger, and now I want to do like some lime juice in order to clear out the jigger, and that's a ½ ounce of lime juice. I did cut back the lime juice on the Mai Tai, but I don't think I want to do that here. There's the ½ ounce. I do need it to cut some of the spicier flavors. Okay, so we've got the lime juice, we've got the sweet component, which is the falernum and the spiced syrup. We need what would normally be Cointreau. In this case, we're going to go with Italicus, and that's a ½ ounce. And again, normally that would be a ½ ounce of Cointreau. I'm just going to go full up with a ½ ounce of the Italicus. I may be wrong. You know, I was wrong last night when I did the initial drink on the Mai Tai, and needed to cut back on the Italicus a little bit, and needed to cut back on the lime juice. But you know, you got to start someplace. Making cocktails is a little bit of a trial and error process when you're going off book. So we're going to give this a try. So 1½ ounces of a dark Jamaican rum. We're going to go with the Plantation Jamaica because it's what I have. So there's 3/4 and 3/4. Oh, one of the other things we did was a little discussion of travel bars and what people do for travel bars. And we met Peter and, it's not Lee, is it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. Who brought their own home bar, their little travel bar, which is a fold-out, full-on bar, and complete with bottles of liquor and all that sort of thing in it. And we brought, you know, this little travel kit, and you know, it was interesting because you had people come by and they were able to see sort of two different extremes of, you know, what you could do with just a really small case versus what you could do if you were like literally packing up a small bar and bringing it with you. And you know, that was just really cool and nifty. Again, no judgments. People liked both equally, so that was very, very cool. The next component would be 3/4 of an ounce of light rum. Again, I did not bring a light rum with me, and we are just going to have to make do with the Dourlies 12. Not really a light rum, but we're going to go with it anyway. It's just going to bring a different...
and Company is the
Devi and Company?
resin.
Oh, the resin flowers, yeah.
I have added a link.
Yeah, so we'll provide you links to all of these, or all of the ones that we can remember, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, right. Normally there'd be a dash of Angostura bitters in here, and of course I have Angostura with me, but I am going for a slightly different flavor profile here. So this is one of the big hits with the showing off the little travel bar, was these little tiny bitters vials. They thought this was great, and so I think we dredged up some business for Shaker and Spoon just so people can get these little bitters containers. This is actually Bitter Queen's Marie Laveau's tobacco bitters, not made with actual tobacco, but intended to mimic some of the flavors and scents of tobacco. And I found that this was one of the scent notes in some of the perfumes/colognes that were advertised. So we're just going to do 2 dashes of the Marie Laveau tobacco bitters in there. And then normally there would be 6 drops of Pernod or absinthe added to this cocktail. And what I'm going to do instead is, this is another big hit, was the little spray bottle here of absinthe. And I'm just going to spray the inside of the glass with some absinthe. We're just going to do a single squirt there. That's probably not 6 drops, but again, I'm using the Mount Defiance absinthe, which is a little more potent absinthe than most people are used to. And now we need 8 ounces of crushed ice, or in this case, just 8 ounces of ice, because, well, this is what I have. And, what am I doing? There we go. We're going to go here.
Christine says their travel bar is 50 feet long. Better stop at the first.
Yeah, well, your home bar, David and Chris, is in fact your boat, Molly. So there's
Their travel bar. Yeah.
that's your travel bar. You're just messing with us now. Okay, so we're going to give this a considerable shake here. Wait, which was the glass? Okay, this was the ice, right? That's the absinthe, right? It goes on the white square. That's how I know that it's the absinthe one. And we're going to shake. Okay, now, you may be questioning what I'm doing here, because the jet pilot, or the test pilot, sorry, is actually supposed to use crushed ice and is supposed to be flash blended with a spindle blender. I didn't pack my spindle blender, so we're not doing that. I just wanted to give this a really good shake, break up some of that ice, and then we're going to pour this into this glass. I'll get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is take David's suggestion, actually, and we are going to pour in.
Oh, and Colleen would have enjoyed the Ukulele Republic was there and did class at
right. There were various ukulele classes. There was a ukulele dealer. There was one of the bands that played for the luau was the Attack of the Ukuleles, which was a ukulele, a drum, and a theremin. So that was kind of bizarre and fun. And then we're just going to dump some of this ice in here. So we're doing it backwards. Usually you would do an open pour with a gated finish. Here we're doing a gated pour with an open finish. And so here is the, not really a test pilot, but kind of a test pilot with some spicier notes, and also made with Italicus instead of orange. So we'll see how this works. Bottoms up, maybe? We'll see. You know, in flavor profile, it's not actually all that far. Wait, that evolves. Remember, I have to remember. It's like, okay, mix cocktail, let cocktail sit, and then take sip. That evolves. That initial flavor is kind of like the Mai Tai, and then it evolves away from that in a lengthy and pretty complex flavor. I think that's pretty darn yummy. I do think that it also would benefit from just a little strip of lime and some expression of oils into that. So just squeeze like that. You can also run this around the rim of the glass, or in this case, the plastic. And we'll take, take another taste. That's seriously quite yummy. I'm going to have to remember that. But then again, I like the test pilot and jet pilot profiles. We're going to hand this off to the dear wife and see what she thinks.
It's kind of a taste.
Yep. There's the wife. Hello, wife. And then we're going to call it quits for this evening. Mm-hmm. So, yep, wait for it.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So it evolves. Yeah, isn't that nice? Yeah, that very nice. So this, the Mai Tai was sort of a one note, and just kind of remained the same. This definitely evolves over time. I like that.
David says, "Is it a helicopter pilot?"
It may be a helicopter pilot. That Not sure. I know there's been a helicopter pilot drink that was done at some point. On that note, I think we are going to. Is there anything else? What do we need to? Uh,
I think good, safe driving thoughts
yeah,
for
think
us
safe
tomorrow.
driving thoughts. And if you are inclined at all to tiki drinks and tiki lifestyle, I think I got to encourage you to attend one of the smaller tiki conventions because this was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And we met a lot of people. We met way too many people that were incredibly friendly, and I'm going to be totally sorry that I'm going to lose so many of their names.
We handed out a lot of pins.
We handed out a lot of pins, so maybe some people are watching this one. Hi, Cliff, if you're watching.
Ornithopter.
The ornithopter.
Amanda needs to come up with a drone pilot.
There's all sorts of piloting names we could do, like drone pilot, remote pilot. Yep, all of that would work. Okay, that's it for this week's episode. This is 93. Can you believe it? 93. 7 more of these things and we will have hit 100. I don't know how we got here, but apparently we are here. Wherever here is. Right, it's Atlanta. Okay, what is our tagline? Is something like, go out and drink some daggone good cocktails or something along those lines. So, see you hopefully next week here on Lovecraft Cocktails doing Quarantiki from the home bar. At least that is the plan.